This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today is Peter Clousey, the VP of Capital Markets for Silver Bullet Mines. Thank you very much for joining us again. Peter, how are you doing?
Very well. Nice to see you again.
Yes, well, we spoke for the first time almost a year ago. It was 10 months ago where we got a bit of an overview of the company there. We talked a lot about the Buckeye Silver Mine and the fact that you were exploring its potential for PGMs versus silver. So let's just get a bit of an update on that situation first of all, if we can.
Sure. PGM smelt at 3,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Gold and silver smelt at 1,800 Fahrenheit. So if you have both, make a choice. Which one? We hired some very good people from Laurentian University in Sudbury, Ontario, who showed us that the PGMs were locked in an iron alloy. So the answer, as simple as it is to get a magnetometer, take the iron alloy out, which will take out the PGMs, and then you can process the remaining silver and gold. It's really that simple.
Right. Well, I remember last time you said you were figuring out, so clearly you have figured out then you are planning on extracting the PGMs from that iron alloy, as you say, but then still processing the gold and silver later on.
So we'll put the PGM and the iron alloy into barrels. We'll put them to the side, come back and visit them in a couple of years.
Right. Okay. Not the focus. So silver and gold is more the focus, but still nice to have a building sort of stockpile, let's say, of PGMs because they are very valuable. Okay, well, let's get a bit of an update on where things are. Last time you talked about the treasure room and you were showing me how you'd kind of discovered it and gone around it, but you've gone beyond that now. You've gone to a new zone. So let's get an update of where things are on that side of things, if we can.
Visually, this is the treasure room. It's about 300 feet in. Sorry for using Imperial. It's Arizona, so we're stuck with Imperial. It's about 300 feet in. The treasure room itself is kind of unstable in the surface, so in the ceiling. So we don't want to send people in until we stabilized it. We followed the vein another 400 feet past to what we call Zone 1. Based upon all the historical records, Zone 1 will be an area of much higher grade silver. In our last press release, it was announced that we touched the end of Zone 1. You know, the rocks look different. You can tell by visual inspection that you're in a different zone. So we've also been told by geologists who work the site and a LiDAR survey that the further you go into Zone 1, the higher the grade of the silver will be. So we've reported 4 ounces of silver from the halo around the end of Zone 1, and we're penetrating further into that.
Right. Okay. So the treasure room, that is just a name you say where there's a big deposit of the silver, but at the moment it's unstable to actually get people in there. So you're working on stabilizing that whilst you've gone around, found Zone 1, and you found some good-looking high-grade silver there. Do you look to get, what's the plans to try and get a resource statement, or are you extracting it as we speak? What's the deal?
No, it'll be almost impossible to get a resource statement on this vast vein work system. We made a decision a long time ago, no 43-101, no feasibility, no PEA. We're going straight to production. We figure we've saved $10 to $15 million going straight to production. So we're into Zone 1. We're blasting and mucking every day. You take about 12 feet per blast of material out of the vein face. We have our own production assay lab. So every day when we blast, we assay the face, grab samples, channel samples.
Okay.
So that we know exactly what we're mining into. Yeah. And as soon as we hit the higher grade material, it takes roughly 40. This is the part I find amazing. You blast it, you test it, you know what's in there. In 48 hours, it has been poured into silver doré bars.
Okay, in 48 hours. Okay.
I find that amazing.
It is amazing. So really what you're doing is you are blasting, so you're planting charges, you're blasting rock, and then you're processing that rock and smelting it down into silver.
Right. So we're not smelting until we hit the higher grade material, but yes, and that's imminent to the best of our knowledge.
Right.
But from the time you hit the really good material, it's roughly 48 hours to put it on a truck, take it to the mill, crush it, grind it, put it through the ball mill, put it through the flotation table, the concentrators, onto the shaker table, pour doré. 48 hours later, you have saleable product.
Okay. And how close are you to getting to the sort of, I don't say first pour, I presume you've already made a first pour, but sort of more regular pours, let's say?
That'll be determined by how fast we get to the higher grade material over here at Zone 1. You know, the nature of mining is, I don't know. You know, we have math, we have science, you could do trigonometry, you could figure everything out. But the nature of mining is, I don't know for sure. We're pretty sure that we're going to hit the higher grade material imminently. Okay. Whether that's today, tomorrow, next week. Mother Nature always has a couple of tricks up her sleeve, but that's what we believe based upon reasonably good data. Once we hit that, you start pouring the silver doré. We sell that to customers. We have no end of customers waiting for silver doré.
Indeed, indeed. Thinking on the sort of the potential of the project here, if you say you want to get straight into pouring, I understand that, the fast track idea, but it does leave the door open to what is the value here. Without doing those studies, you can't really definitively say, can you? But what's giving you the confidence that this is feasible and this is commercial?
Well, the mill works. We've used it, we've crushed, we poured doré out of it already, so we know the mill works. Okay. So we can take that part of the uncertainty out of the equation. Mining by its nature is always uncertain, but we're working from really good historical data to tell us where that zone over to my right side here is. Mm-hmm. And so far, all of the historical data has been bang on and corresponds to the LiDAR survey that we did.
Okay.
So management has a high degree of confidence that we're right and that the higher grade material will make itself known relatively soon.
Okay. Well, alongside this, you've announced a placing, haven't you, for $500,000 US. So this is currently ongoing here. What are you going to use this money for?
Well, it's $500,000 Canadian, just for accuracy. We lost 6 weeks to the heat this summer in Arizona. I don't know if you were following, but Phoenix itself had roughly 55 days of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, a record. We have a concrete pad that holds up our ball mill. It hit 158 degrees on the concrete pad. These are temperatures in which no human being can work, nor will your equipment function properly. We lost 6 weeks. And if you're going to lose 6 weeks, you lose 6 weeks of time, lose 6 weeks of money. So just to buttress the treasury, we're going to raise the $500,000 to make sure we have cash on hand to pay the things that need to be done.
To pay the things that need to be done. Okay, go on.
And by the time we get to the higher grade material in Zone 1, that'll generate free cash flow, and the business plan takes off from there.
Okay. Well, getting to that free cash flow is, of course, a big milestone moment. I know you. It's always risky, and you perhaps can't answer this. But when are you targeting? When are you hoping to get to free cash flow? This year? Early next year?
This is based on assumptions. But
yes.
Assuming we hit the higher grade material here, free cash flow should follow relatively soon. We know internally that our costs are low. We know what they are. We made a production decision when silver was around $16, $17 an ounce. Mm-hmm. I realized that COVID and the supply chain have interrupted whatever prediction of costs you had, and everything must be readjusted. But we're relatively sure we can hit that free cash flow relatively soon once we start pouring the silver doré.
And you're profitable at a silver price of around $16, $17 an ounce.
Didn't say profitable. Profit is a funny accounting term. I prefer net cash flow.
Okay, yeah, or P&L plus, let's say. Yeah, okay, right, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, thank you for giving us that update. I hope it's not too long till you do get into that high grade material and we can perhaps see a silver pour, and then we can get an idea of, really how things are going. And then maybe we can get a bit more detail into some of the numbers and what you can perhaps forecast or what you would hope to get out of from free cash flow. But thank you very much for your time today. Peter Clousey, the VP of Capital Markets for Silver Bullet Mines.
Next time I see you, I'll have a doré bar in hand to show you.
Look forward to it, Peter. Thank you very much. Okay.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.